So, this is my gym trainer OC. Not the one from Pokemon, but an actual gym trainer. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, whenever I'm trying to start up something or get back into it, I need a bit of a morale boost, and he is definitely that for me. This right here is the first time I've drawn him, and now I get to happily expand on his character a little bit. So a few weeks ago was when I drew this character for the very first time, and like I said earlier, it was mostly for a morale boost. I've been meaning to get back to the gym just so I could feel better about myself, and mostly because I miss it. I used to go often enough, and it would help me feel better about myself, not in a way that I don't like my body, it's just that I don't like breathing heavy when I go up the stairs, and I don't like feeling like poopy. So, as a result, I was like, you know what, why don't I make an OC that kind of helps push me to want to go to the gym? Which, I know not everybody needs that kind of boost, but I definitely do, especially because it's been a while, like a really long while since I went last time, and now that I've finally gone back, I'm like, wow, this is nice, this feels different, I don't feel so stagnant anymore. So I'm glad I kind of created this OC as a result of me trying to make a change in my existence, which feels pretty nice for once, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now that I've explained to you why he's been created, I'm gonna kind of shift gears onto how he looks like and what kind of character he is. Like I said before, I did make this character a good few weeks ago, so since then I decided to do some changes to the character, but ultimately his personality is still the same, which is someone who is very happy, very go-getter, and very hardworking, which is what I kind of expect a gym trainer to be, you know? Also, I think this is a really good time to bring up why using the original drawing as a reference point is very important. So the skin tone I picked here was actually too light, and as I was coloring him, I kind of realized that too, that it didn't feel right. So when I brought up the reference or the original drawing, I was like, okay, this definitely is too light, and then I decided? Ooh, I talk way too fast for my own good, bro. Decided that I should actually shift the color base down at least one color. So instead of E13, I used E15 as a base, which fits so much better, and then I decided to use, the proper shading for it, which was a warm, darker toned brown to match the skin tone that I had as close as possible. Sometimes it's difficult to match your traditional art supplies to your digital art supplies because there's such a wide range of color digitally, and you can literally pick any color possible. But when it comes to your traditional art supplies, you kind of have to match to the best of your capability and what you have, or you gotta work smart and mix colors and tones to try and get there. But I really do think the markers were a pretty good match for the skin tone that I picked digitally, so I was happy with that outcome. Now, for this character, I decided to go with the name Devon just because I like that name very much. It kind of reminds me of the word divine, so I thought that was cute. I did change him a little bit from the original design. In the original drawing, he's much more plump than he is fit, which I don't mind. I'm cool with that, but I wanted him to kind of look more muscular than plump, which to me personally, either one is just fine, because either way, I like them both, I'm not gonna lie to you. But with that change, that means that I had to get rid of the Booba Balloona Bazoogas that was on his chest, because the ones that I had in that drawing were much more boob than it was muscular boob. You get what I'm saying? Because there's usually a clear difference between the two. One is much more muscular in the way it sits, and the other one is much more fat in the way it sits. We could just, say canon that in the time that I've drawn that last drawing to the time that I've done this drawing, that he decided to get cut much more in the gym. So canon, he was working on himself, and that's when that went ahead and happened. But who's to say that he won't get plump again? We'll see the next time I draw him. Maybe I'll do a wishy-washy. Sometimes I do that with my characters. I don't keep them a specific weight or a specific look when I draw them, just because I like the freedom of having that. Sometimes, like when I draw Nikki, sometimes he's much thinner, sometimes he's much heavier, or sometimes he's more plump in some areas than others. And I like that because sometimes I feel like that's realistic, you know? Like, nobody stays the same weight their whole exact life or the same body shape or anything. So it kind of makes sense whenever I draw my OCs personally that they look different sometimes. And that's because, you know, they're living in their own world and universe and they're doing their own things. So maybe some work out more, maybe some work out less, or maybe some have fat in different areas that grow. Like some people, even in real life, are more partial to having fat grow in their thighs than in their, let's say, arms, you know, so their thighs would look bigger than their arms. Or sometimes the way muscular build happens is different too. Like some people, it's much easier for them to grow muscle, let's say in their calves, than in their biceps. So everybody is different, you know. It all usually just comes down to genetics more than anything, and I like to apply that to my characters too, because that's like an added note of realism in there for me, and I like that. Everyone's different. Some people just like keeping their characters the same way and doing it a different way, but I think that it almost adds a kind of charm to your character when you show that there's a visible difference in them. So now I kind of want to talk about the poses for Devon real quick, because I feel like they're kind of important enough, right? So the first pose, which is him doing a bicep curl, kind of shows him in a very serious light where he's doing the workout and that he's probably counting his reps, and he's got some pretty big weights on there too, so it looks like he's really pushing himself. And in this second pose right here, which I absolutely love, I don't know which one I like more, I'm gonna be honest with you, but this pose definitely shows the happy, like, cute side of him, right, where he's just like, I love to work out, and since he's a gym trainer, he likes to help other people work out too, right? So him carrying the weights on his shoulder and being like, let's get started, or yay, we did this set, or we did this amount of weight, is kind of like really welcoming, and I love that about him, because you wouldn't want somebody who trains you to be a hard ass, unless, you know, you want a hard ass, which is totally cool, but like hard ass people I've had enough of, bro. I just want some softness, bro, that's all I want. So like just having him as a character and knowing that he'd be gentle enough but would push you enough is a really nice change of pace, and I think that I love him just for that. I've drawn this character a good 3 times, and I'm probably gonna draw him some more just because I enjoy the idea of him. For me, whenever I have a character that's much more welcoming and inviting, I'm more likely to draw them than when I make a character who's like mean and grumpy and grouchy. It's just like a me thing. I don't know why I do that. It's just like a force of habit, which I need to get out of, because I just need to draw the character and not put their emotional input in, because they're just characters. So it just doesn't make any sense to do that. So now let's talk about Devon's personality a little bit, right? So we noticed that he's very happy, he works out, all this stuff. He's also very big into neon clothing, and you could tell that not only from this, but from the previous drawing as well. The colors are very bright and in your face, and that's kind of like how his personality is too. He's very charismatic, he's very out there, outgoing, so it only makes sense to kind of have his gym clothes match. Plus, I feel like gym clothes a lot of the time are much more colorful and bright. You can obviously get the black pants and shirt and the grays and the darker colors, but from what I've seen, usually the bright neon colors are kind of like the style at the moment when it comes to the gym. His favorite color is purple, and that's why he's dyed it into his hair. And also, whenever I draw him, I'm gonna try and make it a mission to include some purple in there, because that's how much he loves the color. He is a very silly character, and he's very laughable and all this stuff, but he also really wants everybody to just be comfortable in who they are and in themselves, and he loves going along the journey with people to do that. So yeah, that's kind of what I got so far on Devon over here, and I only hope to create more of a storyline for him, especially in the same world as most of my other OCs. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember, I love you. Bye!